the Cho going roam just to catch the opponents and to make a combination with the Kadita, but most likely Bucks is going roam. That's the reason. So they need to remove the XP laners and also Ruby Bang. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I think Onic ID do not want to close off the idea again that you can get Kelra to pick up the Ruby in the gold. Look at them, they know each other too well. They're already just showing to each other, signaling to each other, I don't know what you're thinking, we're not gonna block it. So I think a Claude might actually be okay here for Savero.
Yeah, this is also, it makes me wonder, again, the difference for the placements here, like we saw coming in this, is $100,000.
Yeah.
Right? So the coaches could be facing off against that too, because, again, that's what's going to separate the placements here for both the teams. And it's right now, it's match point, right, for Onic Indonesia. So for Onic Philippines, these are two big picks that still need to round up the lineup. The last ban is going to be Arlott. So they don't
Thank
worry.
you.
Hey, they don't worry about the math. They just ban it out instead.
Thank you, Onic Philippines. I love you guys.
This is the biggest smile I've ever seen on Destroyer's face this entire trip. Someone bans out the Arlos, like, oh yes, let's go. But
now it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. No, honestly, dude, I'm on the same boat. It's like, you know what? At least now we're forced to see some different options. They did it. They actually go for the flex. Okay, they put the Baksha in the XP, and the possibility that you posed comes out.
You know, I thought about this, but then no. You know, they're too conservative guys. They won't do it, and they're doing it.
Yeah, I think
I like it.
One of the first few times, if not the first time, we're seeing Baksha go into the XP lane.
What if it's Cho XP?
Oh,
maybe.
I think, again, part of that, the flexibility is the strength there, and you can really do either, depending on how this goes. But with the Granger now picked up, you've essentially got that double marksman lineup for Onic Philippines. What's the last choice here? All right, they go Glue. So Glue in the XP, and then what would be the best case there? Because wouldn't the Boxer just win that, or would it just be a dead lane?
I guess, but
just don't see that often. So.
Yeah, it might be better off for the Cho in the XP because it's a little bit.
Cho looks better.
Yeah, it's harder for the Glue to deal with in the laning phase. That Glue essentially is just like, all right, let me slowly clear my lane while the Cho gets out. I still think this is gonna be like a Claude for Savero, unless they go something like Irthal if they want something mobile with good damage. But yeah, it is a Claude.
It's really hard for me to draft this even. I don't know.
Yeah, especially if you think about Destroyer math. Okay, 6v5 with Dexter, but Glue. How many little Gluelets does he have?
We're on the same boat, bro.
I think I'm...
Somebody count them.
Yeah, I'm with Destroyer here. It's hard to read for this one. Nicey, what do you think, man?
I'm on the same boat, but I'm hoping for a Game 5, so I'm going to go with Onic Philippines.
All right, let's see if we are going to be getting that Game 5 in this Best of 5 series where Onic ID are in the lead. Or will Onic just say no more Game 5? We want to walk away with $100,000 more than our Filipino counterparts. Lafel, Leo, let's take us into this game. Yeah.
I agree that this one is going to be hard to read. Heck, this is a good time to be illiterate. And now, 5v5, who cares about that? Numbers! It always expands as we're jumping in to the series where right now Onic ID is still in match point. It's on Onic ID's hands to extend, but now Super Prince looks like he's able to survive with a slither of health. And now Kirk even comes in just to provide that backup.
Early technical knockout for the Sky Kings here, giving a lot of space for Kiboy and Sans to bully Brusco. This will some way somehow compromise King Kong's jungling patterns unless they are able to clear him out. Yep, there it is. So it's now Kiboy's turn to actually check in on his side if King Kong's been cheeky. The answer is no. So the Super Fam are playing this a little too close to the chest, hoping that they still find a way to be proactive.
I gotta say, playing Boxia quite often this patch, it is a bit annoying going up against that Glue because you don't have a way to really survive. And now Brusco taking a bit of damage coming in from Kiboy as well as Sans, doing a very good job, trying to have priority here in mid, but it looks like they're not really rotating anywhere. They're just making sure that Onic Philippines, they don't go anywhere. They just stay mid.
Uh-oh.
Even King Kong, just stay mid.
Ludpi put down about a third of his health. They are fighting closer to Kirk's turret, but you're right, Lavelle, it is tough for the Box to survive. Here's a quick look at the emblem set. If you want to play Baksha EXP in this current metagame, there you go, just all HP plus Concussive Blast.
Interesting, for this one, Super Prince is going for Pull Yourself Together on that Purify, understanding that perhaps he's going to be the main target that Onic ID wants to shut down, and respectfully so, the Farsa is going to be a big problem in this matchup. The Glue having Thrill as well, trying to make sure that he wins out that lane. So looking at the priorities coming in from Onic Philippines, it really is to get pressure and making sure that you don't get stopped by anyone coming in from Onic ID.
Onic PH first to the scene here. Turtle already spawned and Brusco pulling it ever so slightly closer to their side of the map. Sans cutting through. There's the Mount Shocker and the spread. Kirk looking to get the ride onto Lutpi. Finds the Mount Feathered Airstrike. Can Lutpi survive? Gets out of the circumference of the Feathered Airstrike. Rolling out. I guess that's how that works. And now Kirk left all to his lonesome. Gets cornered by Kyrie and Lutpi. Survives via the spread, but only for so long. The Retribution, he's taken so long. He's held these two hostage, opening up the turtle take to Onic PH. LaFell, was that worth it?
I don't think so, man, because that took forever and a half to take down one Kirk and to give over the turtle to Onic Philippines, because we got to think about the win condition, and that's getting King Kong online as fast as possible. And in a way, they allowed that to happen.
And all the more it opened up the rest of the map for Onic PH, because already you saw post-turtle take, Prince and Keller were able to rotate up already. So yeah, all the more, this is so worth it for the Super Fam. Onic ID, they have to bounce back. They have to get their priorities straight, lest we go to Game 5.
Yep, that's something to keep in mind for Kirk. Make sure you manage your longs very well, because once the Lancelot has the War Axe, he's going to have an easy time to get maximum stacks on that War Axe, so maximum damage with the penetrations. He just has to be careful not to hurt his own team with those longs.
For those of you all wondering, longs are the triple OG name for Glue's Gluelings. If you know, you know. Kelra here gets visited by Keyboy. So this laning against Savero is going pretty well. Again, he's up by about half an XP bar. That is a byproduct of that early rotation post-turtle take. Mid lane though, this story, the fact that Superfish hasn't died 4 minutes in and only popped his Purify once, that means it's going relatively good for the Super Fam.
Yep. I like that Savero has a good answer where people ask, how do you fight with Kelra? And he just says, I don't. You don't. Just let him do what he wants and I'll do whatever I want.
Yep.
10 minutes, then we'll brawl it out. We see who's better. Now King Kong having that Hunter Strike will have quite a lot of damage coming for this turtle fight.
And this turtle is spawning in about 3 seconds, just in time for Savero to have cleared the majority of that wave. And the not fighting Kelra MO is fitting this Claude's farming pattern, because you just gotta leave the lane, double lane, and then Bob's your uncle. So far, this looks like a complicated dance. Second turtle up for grabs. Kirk setting up the front line for Onic PH. There's the Mount Shocker. Kirk already taking too much. The fifth crack and break by Brusco, setting up a turtle take. Down goes one. Lutpi bites it. Train for Kirk. Down goes Sans as well. And now it's Keyboy's turn. Double kill for the gold standard. Onic PH walking away with everything they want.
It's so good and so bad to see a Badang perform this way, because this is the thing about Badang. It's not about being tanky. It's not about canceling out those CCs. It's just about being annoying as heck. Making it so that you disrupt your opponents. Whatever plan you had, scrap it. Scrap it all, because I'm going to make sure you don't get to execute any of them.
It was just about a year ago when Badang started to rear his handsome face in this current metagame and in the higher echelons of MLBB esports. And now he's a legit mainstay. Again, the fact that you can be on the losing end of a fight and of a game and still find a way to clap back via a hero engage, that's doubled down by the fact that when you're ahead, you're so ahead. Brusco, despite just having 2 assists, have helped score everything for Onic PH, has set up this 2K gold lead that makes us all the more closer to a Game 5. How's that for a battle for the? How's that for a quote-unquote just scrim between friendly teams? Great trade, top and bottom.
Hey, answering the question, who's the better Onic, man? That in itself. Because even during the draft, you can see how excited the coaches are to draft against each other because they know each other so well. And I'll look at Onic ID. They're going for more farm on Kyrie, making sure that he has the damage first. He has the War Axe. Maybe they want a little bit more. Savero taking a lot of damage coming in from Super Prince. And Super Prince wants to chase after that. But Sans and Loopy make sure that Savero gets out alive.
This whole don't fight Kelra can only go so far. Because if you run away from that lane, you go to mid, Super Prince is there. You leave mid, you don't want to go that direction. You have Brusco and King Kong chasing you. So the map is shrinking for Onic ID. There's only so many places you can go that the Super Fam can't get you. King Kong here gets hit by these kicks from Keyboy. Mount Shocker to confirm the positioning of all of Onic ID. This wall set up behind the wall, forcing Lutfi to go ahead and use the Puissance. Not going to be enough. Serving up a kill to Kelra. A stack on a Sky Piercer. Make that two. Keyboy falls as well. Feather strike by Super Prince, forcing a rough waves from Sans. The Gila can't survive this one. All this while, Cheeky Kyrie going for the purple, while King Kong takes the turtle.
Yep, and now, honestly, Kelra is starting to become a problem here. 4-0-0. About time where he's going to be able to one-shot people. Now, even with the Malefic Roar, doesn't matter if you're building all those armors, going to get shredded down. Loopy is already not having a good time going up against this glue. Now he's going to have a worse time going up against this Granger. Who knew violence could hurt this much?
And so far, violence is the answer. Onic PH throwing damage on everything that Onic ID throw their way. Half health on Sans and Lutpi. Just through pokes, LaFell, just through pokes.
One of the biggest problem right now is that Keyboy does not have an opportunity to get a kick onto anyone. The fact that Super Friends having that pull yourself together with 3 assists makes it so that timing is going to be so difficult for Onic ID to the point where even if you extend this game, oh look, going for an attempt and it looks like he's failed.
Oh, the fist break. Didn't even get clicked yet. That was just a crack right there. So imagine how unfortunate it would have been for Kibo just get picked off for free. Kirk looking for a mount. Not gonna happen. Onic ID dispersing. They're doing everything they can in their power to protect mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, and Onic Philippines is also making sure that they don't overhype themselves. They don't overheat. They make sure that they don't overextend because they understand that in terms of firepower, they already have a lot of it. They don't have to force things out. If Onic ID really wants to defend this, eventually one of them will go down. At that moment, that's where you can really capitalize and punish them. So I like the patience coming in from Onic Philippines, but they go in.
Oh my God, Brusco with a full combo and a flicker committed. The Feathered Airstrike serving up another kill for Onic PH. Who saw that coming?
You want back? I take back what I said about being patient. They just waited for an opportunity for Brusco to go in, and then Bob's your uncle. 0-0-5 for Brusco, 5-0-0 for Kara. Both the roamer as well as the goal laner having an amazing game for themselves.
Mad stacks on Kelra's Sky Piercer. I'd reckon that's 4 kills in the bank for the stacks on that. And now the Lord. This is a very significant 5,000 gold lead. Onic ID have to play this well. They have to play it very specifically and carefully if they want to contest. Kirk and Prince alone are able to send Onic ID a certain direction.
But now the Golden Staff being built by Savero, going to be able to deal quite a lot of damage. Not sure if it's going to be enough to really take anyone down, but they still have a fighting chance. Showing that Dexter inside the bush to make sure that they have clear vision of where Super Prince is. Keyboy probably going to try to catch King Kong, but again, easier said than done.
Dear God, Lutfi down to 1/5 of his health. Forced to play Sans and Baksha Unite out, looking for a target. Instead gets mounted here. The Keyboy kick, unable to pay off, but no, they're able to burst King Kong. Brusco goes down too. A deceptive positioning from Onic ID, able to take 3 down. And now Kelra, up next on the docket, survives. Suddenly, Onic ID able to blitz into a winning position. They claim this Lord.
And now people are going to question, how does Kyrie keep getting the Lancelot, man? This guy's a problem because Onic ID, even without that Lapu Lapu, in a way, they're able to split the team fight, but a little bit differently, where you wait for the glue to mount on the Boxia and then just roll on out of there, make it into an honest 4v4. This is a different way of Onic ID splitting the fight, making sure that Kirk is a non-factor in the team fight.
Man, Lutpi made sure Kirk knew that it wasn't him mounting Lutpi. It was Lutpi mounting Kirk. He took him away, you're right. That's definitely one way to make that 5K gold lead matter less. And now Onic ID are on their way to reclaiming a majority of the map. Great work here by the Indonesian champions. Onic PH, they have to recover. They can't let what happened in Game 3 repeat itself. That was the story of that game. It was all Onic PH until a moment like this.
Onic ID is also making sure that they don't get caught by Onic Philippines, and this is a very interesting situation where the coach is telling Lutpi is like, you got a 1v1 Kirk, and Lutpi asks, how long? And he's like, exactly. And now the Lord already getting chunked down, looks like it's going to be a non-factor, not able to touch that turret, so despite Onic ID having a big lead, Kyrie is able to escape that one.
Fist crack already spent by Brusco. Didn't want to commit too much. Will go off cooldown in just a few moments. Super Prince, very dangerous positioning. Wings by Wings has the Purify on hot call here. Onic PH, again, their lead has shrunken. Again, down to just barely 1,000. This is definitely a defensive power spike by Keyboy. The Twilight Armor no longer is just going to disappear.
Yeah, I really feel like Onic ID is making this goal lead look very deceptive, because you would assume that Onic Philippines has control of everything, and the way that they just take away control, it's very interesting to watch. But Onic Philippines, they can definitely outplay this just by making sure that they play deceptively themselves. I kind of feel like if one or two members just don't show themselves on the map, it will cause some hesitation coming in from Onic ID. And maybe one of those members should be Kirk, because he should see that he is the one being isolated every single time.
Yep, no longer can they just go for the 1-2 step of Kirk go mount somebody and then Brusco walk up. You have to have Brusco and Kirk walk up and use your flickers, gentlemen. Use your flickers to try and find an initiation. So now Onic PH, I think they understand that, because they're not just welcoming Onic ID's attempts. This is also a trap. Onic ID now forcing a Feathered Airstrike out of Super Friends. Keyboy threatening a kick. Still has his flicker on the ready. This is all good for Onic ID. The more time that Onic PH allow for them, that's more farm on Savero that they're building up.
Yep, and now looks like an engage coming in. Lutpi jumps in, gets caught. So far still okay, but Sans! He actually goes in, deals a lot of damage, and now Kyrie killing spree goes all the way in. Kelra still free hitting from the down low, but here look at the Joe Flicker and shut down. Kyrie gets a triple! And now Super Friends having to use the Feather Airstrike just to create some space. But look at Keyboy. Keyboy's winning in. Super Friends, does he know? Does he know? And it looks like he knows now. Savera goes in. Wings by Wings out of there.
Not a problem. He had his Purify. A moment of hesitation. A slight episode of confusion for Onic PH. That is what led to the triple for the Sky Kings. A trade for Lutpi, all the more worth it. Again, if this repeats itself, they ended up with a different approach in the equation, but ended up on the same result. Onic ID have now gotten the lead to their side. 1,500 plus a Lord.
Yo, I gotta say, Onic ID have been doing this, I believe, ever since the second game, which is they always try to bait out abilities coming in from Onic Philippines. Onic ID is very good at feinting here, making it so that they're in position to do damage, forcing a reaction coming in from Onic Philippines, and it'd be like, nope, just kidding. We're getting out of here. Nothing left. You sure you're good? Now it's our time to shine.
Now a very, very obvious weakness in Onic PH's game plan, especially when they're on the back foot. They lack the re-engage. What is the re-engage in their arsenal? Their repertoire used to be miles deep. Now it seems like when Onic ID finds that window, Onic ID just puts Onic PH in a position wherein they can't respond. They're stuttering. They're caught with their pants down. Like, how do you fight back? That's been the story of these previous games where Onic ID win out of nowhere, and now they're knocking on Onic PH's base. Lord jumps on the bottom lane. Mountain Shocker already used. Onic PH definitely on the back foot, losing that bottom lane inhibitor.
Yeah, and now we're looking at Onic Philippines again, having a bit of a difficult time here to really protect their base, despite having that Farsa. Honestly, Onic ID keeps forcing it out. We even saw Sans like freely using the rough waves just to get out of a bad situation after he got what he wanted.
Here comes Onic ID, that is, feinting another engagement, forcing a feathered airstrike and a defensive maneuver from Onic PH. Although it could have gotten so much worse, Onic ID, they know that they have to play for this next Lord a minute out.
Yep. Despite Onic ID basically having access to the base of Onic Philippines, Kelra and Super Friends are still top 2 in the damage charts here. So in terms of damage, in terms of fighting back, they can definitely do it. And I believe that Onic ID, they have to use the Lord, because getting inside the base with this kind of draft against the Granger, against the Yi Shin, against the Farsa, not a lot of feints will really work, because at this point they have more firepower in form of turrets. So Onic ID, they're in a situation where they want to force a fight. Honestly, they can. And if they do, it might be a big throw.
The clock is ticking. It's Onic time, definitely, but you know for which. There's about a 20-second timer wherein Onic PH can force something. That's why they're rotating out aggressively. And there's a decent amount of stacks on Kelra. Oh my lord! Super Fritz spots Sans, or should I say the other way around, forcing a response. Magic Sentry used up. No one home. It was just Sans checking these rogue brushes.
Yep. Respecting as well the fact that Sans can get off harm's way. Make sure that Super Friends does not use the Feather Airstrike, especially considering that the Lord has spawned here. Onic Philippines, how do they react to this? Because Onic ID, they might go for the fake engage again.
So now the Lord is confirmed to have evolved. It has extra abilities, especially in the siege. And Onic PH have made their intentions well known. They're looking for the contest. Friends and Kelra very close to the front line. In comes Sans, Mount Shocker. Onic PH know where everyone is. Feather Strike, pushing them out. Lord at about half health. Loot B rolling around. What's the plan here for Onic ID?
Yep, and now with a lot of skills being used by Onic Philippines, Onic ID is taking control. It looks like Sans goes in with the Petrify. And now Kyrie gets the Lord.
And the Revitalize from Loot be able to keep him alive long enough, but Onic PH will punish the Lord for the EXP laner. I think Onic ID are happy with this result.
At this point, it really is about who has the better trade, and considering the base situation of Onic Philippines, like you said, Onic ID, they're very happy. And again, Onic ID are in the minds of Onic Philippines, understanding how they think, understanding how they react, and using all of that to win this third place match.
And they even know what Onic PH are willing to give up. And that's what allows Onic ID to get these beneficial trades. They've been trading up. The Sky Kings have been trading up, ladies and gentlemen. They got a calculator right underneath that desk saying, all right, this is what they did. All right, we'll get away with it. Loot B for the Lord. Let's do it. And they're still holding them by the neck. 3K gold lead. The map is red. This might be the endgame siege.
Second engage coming in from T-Boy. Stopped by Kirk. No with Dragon just yet. The Lord is inside the base of Onic Philippines for now. Looks like Onic ID, they're spread out the map. Flicker goes in, finds one.
Feathered Airstrike plus the fist crack. And now another might fall. Popping T-Boy's immortality. Able to flicker out, and Kelra gets him max range. Super Prince looking for stragglers. 2 for free. And no additional inhibitors fall for the Super Fam. They kick out Onic ID.
And again, this is what we were talking about. Onic ID against the draft of Onic Philippines. They can't really get inside the base. They got to use the Lord to really pull them out. Which I feel like Onic Philippines, they understand this. That's why, sure, get the Lord. As long as we don't die, we can protect the base. We're all good.
And that was an evolved Lord, mind you, that had the extra skills, that had more damage to improve and enhance Onic ID's chances at team fights. And now suddenly, look, Onic PH have left their base, turned the map blue, and are looking for a siege of their own. Feather Airstrike coming in from Super Prince. Lootby taking a good amount of these salvos, and that inhibitor falls. What a disciplined comeback. Onic PH able to regain a majority of the macro.
Let me just say, if this goes all the way to Game 5, Onic ID should really consider doing something about this Badang, man, because everyone gets stopped by the Badang.
The conceal by Keyboy. Knocks up Kirk. Finds him. There's a failure strike, the answer. Lutpi on the Super Prince. Kelrad half health. Down goes Kyrie. Lutpi now catches a few stray bullets. He's down. And so will Keyboy go. Just Sans and Savero left. I don't know how this Kadira and Claude can do this, especially against 5 members of Onic.
And now having the minions charge in as well, they're able to get an inhibitor. Is this the end? Can they do it?
Massive waves. In comes Savero. A blazing duet to save the day. It's not going to be enough. Brusco fights Sans in the back. Down he goes. And ladies and gentlemen, the Super Fam have said, not so fast. We're going all the way to Game 5.